Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and as always, I'm joined by Baker. Gameweek 8's done, mate. Oh, no, it's not done. Gameweek 8's almost done. How you doing? You all right?
Done for me, not done for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks.
Exactly. How are we feeling?
I'm a bit croaky. This evening. Yeah, my boy was sick most of last week and passed it on to me. Perfect, as it was a solo parenting weekend. I mean, props for anyone that solo parents either often or all the time, because it's exhausting for a weekend.
Mate, you're never off. You're never off. That's how
You're never off.
That's how it works. So, yeah, I mean, I was down taking the eldest to gymnastics yesterday, so that was something a little bit different. We were out the house for like 11 hours, of which of it like 6.5, maybe 7 hours was driving, and she played the same song about 35 times. I swear to God.
Oh, yeah, I've
headphones.
done that.
Yeah.
I watched the same Peppa Pigs, the same Paw Patrols, the same Hey Doggies. Just
This is the chat that people come for. They don't want to hear about Saka. They want to hear about
they
kids
want to know
and
about the
stuff.
cartel, so let's just get onto that, shall we?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I think it's just people just finding a different word and a different stick to beat people with every week, to be honest.
I absolutely love the term cartel.
It is funny. But
What a
it is a
weekend.
load of nonsense.
I mean, Friday night. What I love is, right, that people think there's a cartel of people that knew stuff. Me and you both made the Saka to Sun move. I, on Sunday, spent an hour looking through Arsenal tweets to check out previous backpacks that Saka had worn.
On Friday, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
That's
you
how
don't
desperate people are for information.
you don't bother doing that. I went to bed early on Saturday night, and it all sort of happened after I'd gone to bed. Like everything happened beyond 10 o'clock. It was hilarious.
Incredible. Friday night was incredible. Like, it's always incredible. Like, Tommy always goes to watch Arsenal down in Bournemouth, and I think there was drama last year, and then there was this year the same stuff. Then Andy goes to the hotel, and that's it.
That's one of the best tweets I've ever seen come out of the community. Is just Andy standing by the hotel sign. It is the best thing It is so good.
Incredible carnage. But there was, like, I think everyone was very jovial, because I think all of us thought there'll be some news in the morning.
Yeah,
I was like that.
They go for a walk.
That Connor Tick Attack, or whatever his name is, or Charles Watts, or someone. There'll be something, but there was nothing. What time did you make the Saka to Sun move?
10:58.
10:58. I think it was 10:58 or maybe 10:59.
10:58, 10:59, something like that.
So to just cover the whole stuff, right? I've got a few theories around the cartel things. I can tell you, I didn't have any information. I was watching Andy's stream. He was umming and ahhing over it. I was definitely on my, unless we heard anything, I was definitely doing it. That was the move for me, because it kind of meant you can just wait a week almost type stuff. It was like close. It's a little bit cheaper. It gives me a little bit more money. The moves I planned this week, I could have just done something else. I could do that or do those next week. He was umming and ahhing over it, and I was like, well, he doesn't know anything. I don't know anything. What I do know, if you look at the people that made the move, the majority of people, the cartel leader, in my opinion, is FPL Review. Because in the morning, I called up FPL Review, I looked at it, I did my usual stuff, which I clicked transfer solver, and then I do ban Bruno Fernandes, I do ban Eberechi Eze, that's my two bans. Then what I did was I just shifted Saka's availability. So I made Saka's availability 80%, not 100%, 80% for this week. As soon as I did that, it said I should do Saka to Sun. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, yeah, actually, that doesn't affect that actually, because it's such a similar price point, it doesn't really change any of the further paths that I've been looking at. Well, I like Sun. He's my boy. My wife's away, and I can dress my son up in the Spurs kit, because she doesn't normally like me dressing him up in the Spurs kit when she's there, because she's like, if they lose now, you're going to blame him all day.
Yeah.
but she wasn't there. So I was like, I'm going to stick her in the Sun kit. I'm going to bring Sun in. And if he scores, all the jinx is gone. I've got a free pass here to do it. That's the
So-
first time we've ever watched a game, me and him, whilst wearing that
nice.
with Sun in my team. I
Perfect.
was so happy about it. And then it was like, what's all this cartel business?
I took a
I'm
start.
pretty,
I took a slightly
yeah,
more relaxed approach because I was literally driving at the time, and
yeah,
we stopped at like Starbucks, and I messaged you, and we were carrying on our conversation with Dean Ashton. We were just carrying it on, and I said, you know what, I'll probably just stop at like 10 to 11 or something like that. And I was listening to Harry while I was driving down, and yeah, I literally stopped it, and I'd messaged you, and I was like, I'd messaged you before I even set off and said, like, this just feels like the move. It just feels like the move, actually, because we haven't got much information at all. This just feels like the move. So I just pulled over at 10:02. I just had a quick look, nothing going on, and then was like, oh, okay, I'll just press the button then. And that was it.
yeah.
I didn't look through. I didn't look through a review. I could have done, but nah, just felt like the right move, to be honest.
Most of the time, that
Spurs
is what
fixtures are
review
good.
is.
Yeah,
Everyone thinks it's
exactly.
weird, but most of the time it is the move.
That's it. Colin Johnson
Yeah.
says, is your boy part of the cartel?
Oh, Eddie leads the cartel, mate. He's the boss.
He's the boss.
Um,
Yeah, fun. So most went to Sun. Some went to Foden, but
yeah.
most went to Sun. Some held. I mean, I didn't mind holding. I didn't mind the holding move. I was going to roll, but
And the majority of people that held were the people that were looking to bring Palmer in next week. And they were like, oh, I can't just straight do it. And I don't really want to do it this week when he was playing Liverpool. So like that's the other thing. It's like everyone that held is like, oh my God, I got done. It's like you weren't doing it anyway, mate, because you were looking at Palmer next week.
and there's not many people that got bad bench jam from what I saw either, as well.
No.
So
A lot of people got Rodgers.
yeah, I'm not going to get Rodgers unless
You don't know that yet.
Well, I don't know that yet, but unless Eze completely misses out, and
Yeah.
that means Forest will probably just smash them to pieces. It's pretty likely I'll get Eze. But yeah, let's see what the chat's saying. Hello to everyone in the YouTube chat. Shout out to you guys. Hope you had a good week. There wasn't really much to have. Venkatesh says, "What's the situation with Janny?" I don't know. Janny did a stream this morning. Everything was fine.
I saw something earlier saying that someone jumped in and was promoting their channel in.
That was me.
Stream.
That was me. Yeah, that was me. Yeah, that's me.
That's amazing.
that was me. Yeah, brilliant. So actually, the dog says, "What are your top 5 fave cartel members?"
Yeah, well, someone actually, the dogs also said this is exactly what 2 senior cartel members. We're 2 senior cartel members,
mate. Yeah, no one gives us anything, mate.
No one gives us anything.
No one gives us anything.
That's a
Daniel
lie.
Banks says, "Just pick anyone who plays West Ham at the moment."
That's a lie. I did get a DM about Saka. I got a DM about Saka from somebody who said straight after the pod on Thursday, who said Saka's fine.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So I did see it. They said Saka's fine. Absolutely fine.
Cool. Oh my god. Remember the cartel secret Walker chat? Yeah, I mean, like the Walker one. The Walker one wasn't a Walker chat. The Walker was just like somebody did get some information on Walker, didn't they? And they started to, and there's people that had brought him in and then subbed and then benched him.
Oh yeah, that was definitely dodgy, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a bit of stuff
definitely. It just seemed weird because it was a good fixture as well, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah. It was a really good fixture.
Yeah.
That was weird. That was weird. Daniel Banks says, Dean Ashton got his mug and coasters. Not yet.
Not yet.
So, cool. Okay. The cartel members should dress up in suits for the stream, says Venkatesh.
That'd be amazing.
That would be amazing. Well, we've never done suit and tie stream. There's certain people that have though. I mean, like Andy Mears, Let's Talk. He's done a suit and tie stream before. Pretty sure Az and Mark have done suit and tie streams.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure so.
Yeah.
One day, maybe.
While we're saying hello to you guys, make sure you hit a like on the video if you do like what we're doing, and hit subscribe if you want to see more from us. If you're on listening back on the podcast, just drop us a review. 5 stars would be fantastic. Just let us know. Let us know what you think. I mean, this could be a week for us not to actually ask what you think, really.
No, I mean,
Just let us know
so
what you
much
think.
drama. Like we in the FPL community create loads of drama. The weekend creates a load of drama. I'm never sure how much is. It always seems to think that post a international break, the weekend's a shit show. In general, that seems to be the common theme. And again, this is another weekend where if we look at who scored the most points this week, so if you take out Mo and Son, you're looking at Michael Keane, Curtis Jones, Clivert, they can't even
You just have to
start,
stop at Michael Keane, mate.
Verbruggen, Vardy, Nacho, Basuma, Senesi. I mean,
Yeah, no, nobody has these players. Nobody has these players. Let's go on to our. Oh no, actually, before we talk about our game weeks, I just wanted to give a shout out to someone who does our thumbnails. So he does our thumbnails every week. He does some excellent work, and the thumbnails for him is some very basic work. Because if you look at some of the stuff that he actually does for football, for boxing, for F1, for all sorts of sports, genuinely, it's incredible. I will say he's not paid us to do this. He doesn't even know that I'm doing this. So Lewis, if you're watching, this one's for you, mate. So this is just a little, just a shout out to him and some of the work that he does. Some of these graphics are absolutely insanely good. And his handles on screen is at Meds with 2 Zs at the end there. So if you want to, if you need any graphic design, football, sport related, get in touch with Lewis, and see if he can fit you in. But yeah, just an example on the screen of some of his latest bits of design here is just superb. It's really, really good. So clean.
so clean. And he's part of like our world. Like you just said, like you had to go to gymnastics for like 11 hours. I've solo parented, and we still got to try and watch all the games to be able to get out Sunday night. And it's the same for him. Like we don't give him the person to put on the thumbnail till quite late, and then he's got to do that and put it in and get it in. So he's all part of the rapid thing that of just get it out as quickly as possible. So let's go. No drama really. Easy game.
Easy game. So start with you, mate. You're all out. Sorry, I see you sipping there.
Yeah, I'm all out. I mean, it's you remember you had your sort of speech of I just want a good game week. I definitely have not got a good game week this year.
Yeah, it's been a tough grind.
Tough grind, is I mean it's the last 3 weeks just in general. Raya and Gabriel, 3 wipeouts in a row, and 3 Haaland blanks in a row. Like just that on its own, once you put that in, you're like, nothing else is going to be particularly good. It's a hefty old amount of money there to be putting into those type of players, 30 million quid basically into those players to go blank, blank, blank with some pretty tasty fixtures. So yes, my all defenders from big teams, as again, Raya, Lewis, Trent and Gabriel managed to do 6 points between them again. Pretty rank. Bumo, obviously he's treated us absolutely magnificently. There was going to be a game where he didn't have the moment he did. Obviously Diaz on the bench. Not much I can do about that. Didn't like having Diaz this week, but took the punt on Saka and hope for the best on him, but he will be gone. He will definitely be gone this week. There's zero chance that Diaz will be in my team next weekend. Morgan Rogers, the saviour. I mean, look, even the points I did get, jammy assist on Son and a jammy goal from Rogers. Like, you take those out and it's much worse. And then Solanke, Haaland, Calvert-Lewin. I mean, Calvert-Lewin just can't score.
He never has really been able to score, but
doesn't have to be though, does he?
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be.
You want him to be, though. You pick him.
Yeah. But there's like Calvert-Lewin should be like, if I looked at all of this team, you're like, who should be the one that you definitely start every week on it? It should be Calvert-Lewin. He's the best striker in the league. Unfortunately, he's also the worst striker in the league. But like continually having 3 big chances every game.
he's like he's since they started tracking it, he's like 16 behind his XG. So
It's insane.
and he's something like 71 XG for 56 goals. Like he's
Feels
miles
impossible.
behind. It's
Actually impossible.
It's miles behind, and that's so. Yeah,
he must feel slightly cursed as well. I mean, we'll do a Captain Haaland show it, but
yeah,
the saves from Muric seemed virtually impossible. like he doesn't just not quite finish great, but even when he finishes great, the keeper somehow goes, "No, I'm saving that. Sorry, mate." So it's like he gives everyone like superpower confidence.
Yeah, it's like it is when it's when you turn up and you're facing Everton, and you're like, this is a good day for me as a keeper.
Yeah,
this is where I can shine. Yeah,
yeah.
man,
I mean, the save down to the right is through him. It's gone.
Mm. Yeah.
So I mean, the noise off his hand. He hit his hand so hard to get down to it. Even the running out on the 1v1, he's just gambled. You know what I mean? And it's hit the leg like nothing. He needs an arse goal. That's what Cavalier needs.
Yeah, he needs an arse goal. Watkins had one of those. I think at the start of last season, he just had one of his. Was it Grealish or something like that? Just had one of his arse, and then everything just started to tick for him. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm on 41 at the moment. I still got Eze to play tomorrow. I had Martinez obviously wipe out clean sheet like straight at the start of the game. Perfect. That's always useful, but then rocks up with a penalty save. So thank you very much to Andreas Pereira for that gift. Trent, Porro, Gabriel, and Lewis. Again, nothing there. 7 points. Thanks. Boomo, you've mentioned. McNeil.
The amount of money we're spending in defence for fucking twos. I tell you
what, Trent's living a charmed life right now. And it will feel. The problem is it will feel like chasing points if I go and get Guardiola, like chasing last week's points. But the fixtures are there in front of you, so I could just go and get Michael Keane.
That's the way.
It's the way. McNeil, I got an assist from him for the Keane goal, obviously, and then I get Son's 12 points, which is nice. Haaland, Solanke, same as you. Rodgers on my bench. Blame you entirely for that. No, I don't really.
I was amazed. I was like, "What, mate? Good decision." Because I definitely would have played Eze over Rodgers, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't do it," and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah. Because then you just started to continually send through other videos of Rodgers. Like you sent through the goal, and then you sent through the big chance missed. I was actually happy you sent that, to be fair. And then Davis and João Pedro with Johnston. Like, where does the Jose Sarr start come from? I know it says like the reports are that he was injured, but did you see the replies to the tweet? Everyone was like, if you look at the replies, it was like, injured. Yeah, okay, yeah. Injured, perfect. Like, mate, they for some reason they're absolutely fucking hating having him there, and they've just had the stinkiest run of fixtures, and he's just been punished for it.
I mean, he has been terrible.
But the same, like he's been terrible, but it's terrible against all the best teams in the league.
Jose Sarr was like the best keeper the world's ever seen today.
I mean, it's definitely helped him. Yeah, it's definitely not helped Johnston's stock. Nah. And you know, me having bought him specifically for this set of fixtures is a bit annoying, seeing as Villa don't keep clean sheets.
You got Emmy, mate. He's got your points in the bank last 2 weeks.
Well, he has, but as you say, like pens jam, and they don't keep cleans, so not really ideal. But you know, 41 points.
Keepers are jam though in the moment, they. Like Pickford's got 20 points in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but again,
compared to Raya's got 3.
Yeah, Raya's got 3 in like the last 3 weeks, isn't he? Something like that.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. Like, but who's like, who's the better keeper? Well, people would say Raya, but having the good one doesn't always equate to the points, does it?
It's mental. Those points for Raya over the last 3 weeks, given those fixtures as well. Because normally you can turn around and say, well, Pickford was the better pick because of fixtures. Because Pickford's fixtures are good, but Arsenal's bad fixtures are starting now.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it does kind of suck for anyone who has like brought Raya in on like Gameweek 6 wildcard, for example. I know I was talking to you, mate. I know I was talking.
Oh yeah, and it hurts obviously because if you spend the extra £1,000,000 and you don't actually get the benefit of spending the extra £1,000,000, you're always every week looking at it and going, extra £1 million would be nice. Could do this. Could do this.
Yeah.
Could do this.
And you're also looking at going, that's an Arsenal slot. That is an Arsenal slot that I've locked up as well. So
Well, I'm not so asked about literally pardon the pun, but asked about that one. But if this was an extra £1 million, I'd be like, I could do DS to phone and right here, got the money.
No,
Can't do that. Fair. You get more twitchy when you spend more money on your keeper.
No, that's fair. Where should we start?
Let's go Man City.
Can't even find it. There it is. Yep. So Man City clocking up 1.71 XG, just getting over the line. Wolves putting up 1. I did enjoy when they said at halftime that it was 1-1, but Wolves were winning the XG. I was like, yeah, but they had 2 massive chances. That's kind of how it works. That's kind of how it works. The Strand Larsen goal was a thing of beauty, actually. Like the ball from Semedo is just outstanding.
So good.
And yeah, I didn't expect him to do anything other than just to slot it away. Any striker apart from DCL would probably score that, I would say.
He's doing a good job, Van Larsen. And obviously Kuna comes off. So if we do start Wolves, Kuna comes off before Strand Larsen as well. Just makes them all a bit tricky, doesn't it?
But it's just that it is that focal point, isn't it? It's that focal point. He does a lot of running. He does a lot of running, and he has to, especially in a game like this when Wolves stood up to City really well. They had a really defined plan, and they knew what to expect from the game, and they executed it pretty well, to be fair. They just got knocked down too many times. I mean, do we even have to ask about the? Well, I gave my opinion on Twitter. I can say it again, but what's your opinion on the John Stones goal? Like, do you think it should have been given offside? Do you think it was a foul? Do you think it was? What do we think?
I thought it was all right, if I'm honest.
I think it's good coaching because, what I said earlier was that, we've seen a number of line of sight offside goals given, right? So, I'm pretty sure we've said on a pod as well that what would have happened if he'd have ducked? Like if you just duck and you're out of the keeper's line of sight, then you're no longer interfering. And so Bernardo Silva's just there long enough to make sure that Sá can't come out and get it. But then it's like, right, I'm out of the way now. I've done my job. I'm out of the way. And he literally
really clearly makes the move.
Yeah, and he clearly moves out the way. Moves right. John Stone just heads it straight over Sá. It's good. It's a good goal. And I get that keepers are going to be pissed off about it, of course. And I mean, to a certain extent, I can see their point. But this is like how we've been told that it's got to be. I'll come on to when we talk about Chelsea Liverpool. I'll talk about not really understanding what the rules of a foul are now. But yeah, I think
we can do this all weekend. We could literally spend the whole weekend saying we don't really understand anything of what we see or do because it was literally all weekend. It was like, what's going on? Like, I don't really understand what's going on.
It would be much easier, I think, if we just turned up and just saw the numbers on the screen and was just like, this was 2-1. John Stones last minute. Okay, good.
Yeah. Good. When Wolves have sat in, I think, when any team sits in, it's very hard to make judgment of who are the players you might want to look at. I still just think 8-0 is just it's so cheap. It's great. It's great. Strand Larsen. It's definitely not bad. Kuna. I like him, but do I want to spend 6.5 on him? I'm not sure I do.
I mean, is he worth the extra mil on Strand Larsen? Because Strand Larsen's about 5.5, isn't he?
He is, and I'm not sure. I'm not convinced on that. I'm not convinced on. I'm not convinced on that. He looks at proper number 9, Strand Larsen, so he's good. I think there is a fair chance I might do 8-0 in this week, which would be for Trent. I probably wouldn't play him against Brighton. I'd probably play Mikalenko home to Fulham. But they're okay. I still think what you see when you see a sort of galvanized performance like they're really with O'Neill still. Obviously, he's got a new contract. He's there. There's a lot of faith in it. Fixtures are going to get better. It's good.
Yeah.
Man City.
How about the City assets? I mean, it's always difficult. It's always difficult on City because teams will sit in and create problems, and if they don't have, I can see what Pep was trying to do. He's trying to give two quick wingers, but to stretch them wide. But like Semedo and Aït-Nouri was so wise to that actually Savinho and Doku didn't really get much joy at all. And even when Grealish came on, like there wasn't that much joy. And the problem is it's so packed it's so packed in the middle. You almost have to get the guys going outside. I don't know. I wonder. It's a very difficult one next week. I mean, there's chat about here in the there's chat in the chat about Haaland triple captain next week, and I'm just wondering how.
There's no chance I'll be entertaining that shit.
But like Wolves aren't Southampton, right? Like, do you think?
Wolves are Southampton. Wolves are literally Southampton. Do you not see Wolves last week? Like we're getting pummeled every week, and Wolves were doing that the week before, and Wolves were doing that the week before. But no one's doing that when they play City.
But Gary, I know we say that like coaches wise up, but I just don't think Russell Martin will bother. I don't think Russell Martin will bother. They'll just try and play.
Everyone last week thought that Gary O'Neill wouldn't bother, and they did.
I just don't think he's got it in him to change anything, to change it up. I think they'll make mistakes. I think they'll make mistakes in front of their own goal, and I think that City will sweep them to pieces.
The big difference is obviously that this is Wolves at home. So Wolves at Brentford concede 4xG. Wolves at home, different game. I think you said it the other week when there was Wolves home game. You were like, yeah, but it's a Liverpool game, wasn't it? You were like, they are at home, so I do think that the crowd will be a bit more expected of them. They'll be more for it. And they kept Liverpool to it's almost a relatively similar. So that game was like 0.7 versus 2, and it's not too different here. So yes, it's different because Man City are at home. But I do think you've got to look at it and go, I don't trust any of the players at Man City. I don't see any round pegs in round holes. I don't see that in any of the positions. Like, I feel like Gundogan, I genuinely think might lose him the league on his own. Like, I don't think Pep wanted him to play every game, but he hasn't just been a 1 out of 10. He's been a minus 1 out of 10 in that how many times did he get in the way of a cross that was going towards Haaland today and stuff like that? And the other week where it was like, you could have put him through, but you didn't do this and didn't do this. He suddenly turned up like some kind of weird trequartista of like, I've really got a position, I'll stand around, I'll do this sort of stuff. But he doesn't break a line, Guardiola. So he never creates space because he's never going past someone or doing actually even a 1-2. He moves into the space he wants to be in and hopes that it comes to him. That makes it easier to defend. So, like, Gundogan is becoming a big problem. I do genuinely harbour, I might even just buy Gundogan next week, thinking that, well, he'll just go stand up top and he'll probably score 4 goals against Southampton. But he's causing a huge problem. Kovacic wants to just run forward, but again, like he's got no poise to him whatsoever.
Pep did say that KDB's ready for the midweek game, right? So
he's ready.
So if he's ready and he plays a decent amount of minutes, you've got to think that he just comes straight in. And I think
desperately need
exactly
him.
That changes everything. And I think you have to put if you're going to triple captain, right? I think you just have to believe and trust that is the missing piece. That is the missing piece.
When they're sitting, he's just standing around Haaland, isn't he? Like, he's just not touching the ball. He's just standing there. Yeah, like he didn't have any shots. He's doing
completely
nothing.
Anonymous today.
It's worse than anonymous. Is that he's completely obvious. Like you spend because the whole time the ball's camped there, you find your eye, especially because he's your captain, just transfixed on him and thinking, Are you going to get the ball to him? I don't see a way you're going to get the ball to him.
It's funny.
I don't see a way you're going to get the ball to him.
It's funny. You did say that you said that because there was a point where I was like, well, I remember watching Craig Dawson's run around him, And I remember
Yeah.
watching him move and then move left, and then like, right, if he comes around here, he comes around here. And you're right, you do fixate on them.
You fixate just thinking, you're almost like not watching the players around and just thinking, are you going to get the ball to him? Are you going to get, how are we going to get the ball to him here? This is not going to happen. Like it felt like the most obvious captain blank in the world after about 15 minutes. And I didn't see anything else but this being a captain blank after about 15 minutes.
They need to. Pep needs to find a way. Pep needs to find a way to get attacked by these teams, like to actually get attacked with numbers, so that then he can break, and then you're not in a deep block.
But because their transitional play backwards is so bad. Like Man City's ability to defend isn't just bad. It's like bottom half of the table bad defensively. Like as soon as someone gets the ball, you're like, well, you can just do what you want. You can just go at them. Like no, like Gundogan, Bernardo, and Kovacic have got no ability to defend whatsoever. So you're at them. So they always give up 2 chances, which are of great things, and then they give away the clean. Like they haven't kept a clean since game week 1. So then if they do give away a goal, you're like, well, this is now harder. This is now the whole thing's harder. Do you know what I mean? It's because game state is we've already given the game, given a goal away. They're doing bad, stupid stuff. They're getting by. I think what did they say? Something like 7th goal from outside the box today or something like that.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they're just getting by on bangers because everyone's sitting in, and eventually the banger goes in.
Yeah. So is it by Kev?
If they don't do the banger, it's a bundle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bangers and bundles.
Bangers and bundles.
That's literally every single goal that we're seeing at the moment for Man City. I'm not in a position where when you said to me about triple captaining Haaland for Ipswich, I remember the exact words you said to me. You were like, it's the perfect fixture. They're still in a position where because of they've come up, they're playing very open football, they keep playing open football, and everybody's fit. And I don't know how often everyone will be fit, but everybody's fit.
I did say that, yeah.
And not just fit, firing.
Yeah.
On it. Those are the words you said to me, and I was like, yeah. You were like, there's no boxes not ticked here. I'm like, So even if De Bruyne and they're not firing, we don't know they're firing.
Yeah.
You were like, what? Who drops out? Like even who drops out for De Bruyne? Who drops out for like Doku? Is it? Like he loves playing Doku against the teams that he thinks he can bully.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's bloody tough right now to do them enough to me to say, nah.
I do just what, yeah. I know what you're saying. I mean, yeah, it's probably, you're probably better off saving it till later on. I just get this. I know Wolves have been crap, right? I know Wolves have been crap, and they've had a tough run of fixtures. But the quality of the Wolves players, like if you look at the Wolves players, if you look across that back line, Semedo, who was he 3-4 years in the Premier League? Dawson's been there forever. Aït-Nouri's been there 3 or 4 years. Who plays alongside Dawson? Don't even know. Was it Bueno? Relatively new, but Dawson, obviously old head. Like these are established Premier League players. Like then you've got Bednarek, right?
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
You've got Bednarek.
It is different.
Cole Walker-Peters. I don't know.
But I think when it's congested, I don't think it's guaranteed that Haaland's the person that scores the goals.
Yeah, okay, I know what you mean. Yeah.
That's
what's saying Kilman. Kilman went to West Ham.
Yeah, Kilman's got West Ham. Yeah, it's like I'm not enjoying it, and I'm also not particularly enjoying Lewis in the sense that I'd say defensively they look really poor.
I'm not overly fussed by Lewis. I mean, just having him feels fine. You're not desperately like you've literally just said it. When we don't know who it's going to be, and we're not pawning over a third City asset desperately, are we? Or trying to get a fourth, or trying to get a fifth?
God no.
Like we're just not. So having that kind of slot locked up that's Lewis instead of Ederson, and you're like, I feel a lot better having that, because there's definitely more upside in Lewis than Ederson.
Make no mistake, if Haaland blanks next week, I'm going to say it's that it'll be the record amount of sales in the game there's ever been in a week.
I'm probably going to transfer him out anyway.
I'm currently right now. See you later, mate. You're gone.
So yeah, no conspiracy theories here. Haaland is probably going in game week 10. Yeah, I think that's
100%.
That's it.
100%.
Cool. Let's talk Spurs. Let's go. It was nice to start the weekend on a positive. Although
we tried.
Oh yeah, we tried.
We tried.
I must have said I hate this team. I hate this team. I hate this team 3 or 4 times in the car, and my daughter couldn't quite work out what I was talking about. She said, "Oh, you love Tottenham." Like, yes, I know, but I also hate them. I also hate them so much. That Kudus goals goes in, because I didn't watch the game live. I've kind of just watched like extended highlights back. But
you were definitely watching live on your phone for quite the time, because by the second half you were definitely watching. Were you pretending to watch your daughter play gymnastics?
She hadn't started. She hadn't started. This is not there. She hadn't started. She had not started. But as soon as she started, I stopped watching. But it was fine because the damage was done by then.
Yeah.
So, for example, I don't think I saw Son hit the post live, which was just after his goal, wasn't it?
Straight after.
So I think I switched it off at 4-1.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
I mean,
Ashton said we're the best team in the league at the moment, or his best team this season.
Yeah, people didn't like that, did they? No. People did not like that. Yeah, so yeah, West Ham, obviously, they had a good result against Ipswich. But bar that, they are giving up a lot of stupid chances. And obviously, last season, we shouldn't forget just how bad defensively West Ham were last season. Like them and Man United, it was close, but in any other season, they would. The reason Moyes went was because Moyes was seen as quite a pragmatic manager, and they were horrifically defensive. They've bought players, Todibo, Kilman, but the signs are there again. Yeah, so if we look at the teams who have conceded more XG now this season, Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton, Wolves, Everton, then West Ham, then Man United. It's the same. Like, West Ham are definitely targetable. Interesting, obviously, because West Ham are at home to Man United next week. But it's just the manner of the goals they sort of give out, the manner of the chances. You feel like we actually had lots of quite low value, but it felt like every time we went forward, we were going to score against them.
Yeah, because we had a couple of other chances. Like we had a couple of Porro had a couple of chances. He had one save and he had one volley wide, didn't he, in the first half?
Yeah.
And you feel like,
yeah, but there's just so many where it was like, oh, this looks like it could happen. This looks like it could happen. Didn't always happen, but if it felt like you can get at them way too easily.
Is the Basuma goal the best goal we've scored this season?
Yeah, well worked goal. Really nice. Just nice.
So comfortable.
Just nice. So West Ham's a problem. Kudos is obviously now banned.
That's 3 games.
That's 3 games banned. I mean, they could give them as many as they want. Maybe they extend it.
No denying that one. Like, it was when you said, because I didn't see this, right? So when you said like, he's just hitting everyone. I saw that
he literally hit everyone. Hit Sarr, hit Richarlison.
He didn't hit Richarlison.
Obviously.
He didn't hit Richarlison though, did he? Richarlison comes flying in, and because someone pushes Kudus, he gets smacked in the back of the head, just goes down. Richarlison just looking to get involved, just gets.
Yeah, I just think I think you can target West Ham for goals. I think it makes. I mean, the fixtures get good, but I think it does make Garnacho and Bruno better. I might have to stop banning Bruno. Looking at this for next week.
It might just work
They're
out. You ban
interesting.
him so many times, it might just default to ban.
Yeah. Um,
How good can their fixtures get though? I mean, like I said it on Thursday, like the next 4 games of the audition, or the next 3 games now are the audition, right, for their
yeah.
players. So I wouldn't be going anywhere near them until 14 at the earliest. And even then, you know, you get 5 games, which is probably enough. But then Liverpool City, which is fine. I mean,
So
Bowen caused Udogie problems, but then Bowen causes lots of left backs problems,
yeah,
right? So
it's
yeah,
Bowen or no one, but it's, even Bowen's difficult because you know, Kudus is a big loss to them. It's easy to mark Bowen when Kudus isn't on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? You're going to focus a lot more on it. I don't think Somerville's going to suddenly make it. Everyone's going to think about stop Bowen and you stop the team.
We need to have a conversation about Solanke, don't we?
Yeah, I messaged you about Solanke this morning. I thought last week, I thought his all-round play was brilliant. And I watched him this week and I thought his all-round play was brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's what I sent in the chat yesterday. I just said I love having Solanke at our club or something along those lines.
And it really made me it made me obviously we both had Son and we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Brennan should have extended his streak. He had so many opportunities that a lot of them were almost. So again, even on the XG, there was a lot where it sort of there was a couple, wasn't it, where he was at the back post and then they got the header that just took it away from him and they did all this sort of stuff. Almost, but the ball was always aimed at Brennan. It wasn't ever aimed at Dom.
Yeah.
And I suddenly thought to myself, this feels quite a lot like Mane, Firmino, Salah. And Liverpool fans
I hadn't thought of it like that until you said it.
I haven't thought about it. And then I was thinking about how much Liverpool fans love Bobby. And I feel like we can love, like he did so many good things in this game, so many wins, balls to set him up, some nice carries, some nice parts, just all round play was fantastic.
It was the piece when he plays Brennan through, I think, in the second half, where he battles off a couple of defenders and does a little mini Cruyff turn while the ball's bouncing and keeps hold of it. It was just ridiculously good. I think that's when I sent the message, just saying I love Solanke.
Yeah. And I'm like, are we watching Bobby Firmino 2.0 here? And if we are, well, we never wanted Bobby.
No.
We wanted the others.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. That could be. Yeah. I mean, like this week, like Johnson 5 shots, Son 5 shots. I mean, Kulusevski's like in a world of his own at the moment. 4 shots from him. And Solanke 1 shot. So that was pretty similar to last week, if I remember rightly.
No shots last week. No shots last week. Johnson 3. Son wasn't there, obviously. Werner doesn't count. Yeah.
So Werner doesn't count for anything. But yeah, it's just maybe we are.
Yeah, no, this isn't about comparing those 3 players. This is about applying it, as in comparing Johnson to Salah, despite the fact Matt Davies, who runs the Vice Focus pod, reminded me last week that I compared when I went on his pod Brennan to Mo, and I was like, maybe that might turn up better than it seemed at the time. But
you're already getting it. You're already getting it in the chat. Like he's no Bobby. He's nowhere near Bobby. Yeah, that's not what you're saying.
Who cares? That doesn't matter. The point is,
it's about the dynamic.
Player
it's the dynamic of how it affects the attack, and it's how the players that we pick for FPL are not going to be Solanke, but is more likely to be Son and Brennan.
And are we always going to prefer? If they were the only reason anyone ever bought Bobby was because they couldn't afford Mane and Salah because they were like 25 million between them.
Yeah,
but you can buy Brennan and Son for under 17.
Yeah.
And maybe we should.
Yeah.
I've immediately thought when I brought Son in, I was like, well, that probably means I'll never buy Brennan now. I'm I'm not convinced I won't buy Brennan still because he did nothing wrong in this.
And I think we can maybe move to either Liverpool, Chelsea, or we can move to United next. But
Just
like I was going to say, and even Villa, if we talk about that, other strikers are actually doing the stuff, right? As
yeah.
well. So it's not just Solanke's not getting the volume that he needs.
Yeah.
But if you look at players like Watkins, as you say, like there's Jackson, Hoyland scored. Maybe that's something. United looked okay. There are other strikers that are just doing it and actually just
We,
getting points. Chris Wood, I mean, like,
yeah. We said it to Dean on the pod on Thursday was that if Villa score four, there's no way Watkins is blanking.
yeah,
Just no way it's happening.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
still the Watkins team. But Kulusevski is just on another plane. Maddo, obviously, even the first half, he was great, but I understand why we took him off. It is purely tactical. He, I feel like so. Our friends in the experience, Nathan A. Clark, at the international break, sent a really good pressing thing of us for the last three games prior to this, and there's an obvious drop off from Spurs about 60 minutes in, sort of almost before you'd start to make subs. So I kind of get what he did in that Sarr is our most vertical player, isn't he? He's the person that gets
mm,
back the best to go forward the best. He's a constant box to box man. And he was like, I'm not letting them run us over here. I'll bring Sarr on.
yeah,
Um, I, it's a problem for Maddo. There was always a potential that playing two tens, not many people play two tens, but playing two tens with a front three is very unusual. It's not good for Maddo minutes. It can never be good for Maddo minutes. But
So is Solanke a high priority move for you now?
not a high priority move because we're there, but it's a watching brief of okay. Um, and like you say, if you end up selling Haaland, how many striker moves can you make? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, if you wanted, could you just do it? Because Wissa got half an hour, didn't he, this week?
Yeah,
Like, you could just do that. Like, you could just do that. You could just do Wissa for Ipswich at home.
you could do with for Ipswich at home.
That's interesting. And then you got the strikers against Ipswich and Southampton. That sounds fun.
It's always tough for us. We're so biased towards him that,
Yeah.
and because we just literally were saying we love him,
Yeah.
so we'll probably hold him too long. I doubt many people will sell him,
Yeah.
but
I tend to make too many transfers generally the way I play. So, yeah, probably. I mean, that might be one that Ipswich, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, Leicester, next 5 for Brentford.
well, let's do Man United Brentford.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. I thought United were.
Are they back?
Well, I thought they were. I thought attacking wise, I think this looks good. This looks good for them. Lots of shots. And although the first half was just a bit quiet for both sides, I mean, we'll just comically talk about the fact that the medical team can't work out how to stop something from bleeding, which I think is hilarious. And then cry about the fact that he has to go off because he's got blood in his head, which is like been the rule for 40 years. Come
It's
on,
quite a lot of blood too.
it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. It is quite funny that Pinnock scores exactly where De Ligt would have been standing. To be fair, that is quite amusing.
Doesn't help.
But like the ball across for Garnacho's goal was phenomenally good, and the finish was outstanding. And
It's a phenomenal ball for
yeah,
Rashford.
yeah. And then like you want to talk about deft touches, and with Bruno's touch for Haaland. I mean, it's a weird one for Haaland because I owned him quite early on into his like United career because I thought he was going to be really good for him, and so I've almost got this thing that I want this to be a kick-on moment for him, like as a striker. Yeah. I just wanted this to be a kick-on moment, and so I thought United were pretty good, and their fixtures are fine. Their fixtures are good coming up. They got their next 5 fixtures are all right. The Chelsea game is probably a bit tough, but that's at home at least. But West Ham, then Leicester, Ipswich after the Chelsea game, then Everton, then a bit of a sticky set of fixtures, but you can probably move off them at that point when you want to just basically switch to Chelsea players.
Yep.
I don't know. I think there's a few games where you could get potentially some Garnacho points or some Bruno points, or if you wanted to punt on a Haaland, it might be just a touch too early, but maybe one more week and then you can maybe let him loose. Maybe let him loose for that Leicester Ipswich combo. Don't know.
I think the whole shape, bizarrely, no Mano, best shape they've played all season. Like he's played way too many minutes too young. Mano, like way too many minutes too young. You can't just keep flogging kids at that age.
Especially when there's a reliance, right? It was not because it wasn't like he was. It wasn't like he was the supporting act to the main men. Like he became the main man. Like he became the main man immediately, and it was like, oh
yeah, too much.
We have to tick, and especially when he does what he does at the Euros, which I thought he was very good. He then comes back in, and then suddenly he is the big man.
Yeah,
like,
so yeah, it doesn't really just surprise me. Casemiro, Bruno, Ericsson, back as a middle three. Thanks very much. Old heads. Evans at the back. Old heads. Like, do you know what I mean? The whole thing feels calmer, feels more organised. It's obviously they stuck Lissandro out to left back, which is basically the only position he should be, in my opinion. I'm sure I know Man United fans love him, but I'd rather have Evans and Delete. Two big men. That's what I'd rather have. You know, it's some of the best stuff from what you kind of want from Lissandro is like an outside centre back, sort of a half back, whatever we call it. That's basically what we played. Really solid. Thanks very much. And absolutely, you know, him and Dallo didn't really. I mean, Dallo did get forward for that one chance, didn't he? It was right up there. But other than that, they sat there, nice flat four, middle three, and then it's like just ping the ball to those two wide men. And Haaland, I mean, the fact that he even just looked up before he did it, you were like, well, that's not what Xerxes been doing. You know, it was really good composure, but the whole thing thinks like, yeah, I like it. I think 6 shots Garnacho had.
Yeah, lots of shots.
Yes,
for Garnacho.
I do like it. Might have even been more than that.
8.
There was a lot of shots. 8 shots.
8 shots. 0.35 XG. Went full Madueke on them. But 8 shots. 5 from Bruno. 5 shots from Bruno for 0.13 XG. Yeah. There's a lot of speculation there. But
it's good. You know, as I said, you're basically playing more of a back three line, as I said, with Dillet and that suits Evans as well, that he's not doing all the running for a 2. Stick him in the middle.
Yeah.
Let him win the headers, let him do the stuff, let him get the blocks in.
Yeah. As you say, it allows Dello to get up. It allows, I mean, it was because normally he'll play, has he not been playing Rashford off the left and Garnacho down the right? Or is Garnacho?
Well, Garnacho's just not been starting. It's like comes on and doesn't do, then it's Ahmad and all sorts. But now, hopefully, he sees that and just has to be like, yeah, just go. This is the team until it's not the team.
Yeah.
Brentford, yeah, Worcester obviously got half out. That's good news.
Yeah,
makes it interesting.
I think, and it's tough on a game where United actually did have most of the ascendancy. I wouldn't want to say it's a bad day at the office for Brentford, but they were just beaten today more than anything. This is one of those days. I don't feel like there's anything that's really changed from Brentford's point of view. Still create big chances. There's not many here, but
and if you don't create big chances, then you look bad.
Yeah,
it's like it's never good. And like if you don't score in the first 10 minutes, and if you don't create some big chances, bad day at the office.
Yeah,
that's kind of Brentford.
Yeah, and they will definitely create more next week when they play Ipswich. I can almost guarantee that. Let's flip back to today. Let's look at Liverpool Chelsea.
Charades.
I thought it was a pretty evenly matched game between two teams that were that were playing quite well. Actually, I thought that the first 15, 20 minutes obviously looks like a complete drag until the penalty, which is obviously just a pen. The second one, the one that wasn't given, I mean, this is where we have that conversation about I don't know what a foul is anymore, because you watch players make tackles, they get the ball and they go through players, and players end up on their shoulders and whatever else, and it goes through. And it's like, oh yeah, that's just a free kick nowadays. That's a 2024 free kick yellow card. But in the box here, it's like, well, that's just a good tackle. Just a good tackle. There was one I'm pretty sure, and I think it might have been an Arsenal thing probably, but there was one where Saka got fouled, but the defender gets a small touch on it, and I'm like, well, probably not a pen or a foul because he's got a touch on it. But apparently that doesn't count. But apparently when the keeper does it, it counts.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just
standard inconsistency.
It's just a load of shit, really.
Old school likes it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was like absolutely fine with it. I was like, oh, gets the ball, okay, I can. But that was it. I was like, well.
But there was also a bit of, it was a very unconventional way to get the ball.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a weird one because he comes out in like a low block. What's it called? What's it called? What's it called? It's a bloody cricket term, isn't it? It's a cricket term when you go down to block the ball from going out for a boundary. You put your knee down on the ground. It's called a long.
I play a lot of cricket, and I wouldn't use a knee down as a term.
You put your knee down, bend down to the side, to make sure that the ball doesn't roll through your hands. And
okay.
Yes. I can't remember what it's called. Someone will tell me. Someone will correct me.
Just simple technique.
But yeah.
I mean, other than that, it's obviously you take away the two big chances. It was a pretty stalematy game. It looked like a lot of things might happen, but not a lot happened. Stella obviously ends up with a big old haul, but bar the penalty, it's like 0.02 xg. It's unbelievable ball for Jones.
I would say, yeah, that ball was ridiculous.
Yeah, I felt Gakpo looked really lively, but obviously didn't get the points to get. It's all a bit okay. I think they might win the league. Like they're right up there, but I'm also like, I don't exactly know. I still think Mo's the one, isn't it? He's the only one you feel really comfortable with. Obviously, Trent. That's very limited. Very limited. Like when you're being a very they're a lot more pragmatic with Paul slot. That's obvious. And you're like, damn it. I'm not sure I want to be spending 7 million when they're pragmatic.
Yeah. No, exactly. No, exactly. And you feel like these returns are going to come from cleans rather than rather than from attacking returns. I mean, I think I said this on Thursday. I know Dean said he's always involved. He does, but he's more involved in shooting from 35 yards than he's ever been, but he's less involved in creating stuff.
Yeah, he's relying on free kicks and corners from one side, not the side that we historically. He's much better at outswinging corners than in-swinging corners. Like all of the corners you can remember, the big headers and stuff from, they were always from the right-hand side. Doesn't take those corners anymore.
Yeah. It's a long barrier, by the way, is the cricket term.
Long barrier.
Yeah.
Never used that term.
Have you not? Chelsea looked a lot better. Chelsea looked a lot better when Pedro Neto came on. That was a huge difference. Huge difference when he comes on.
I think for Palmer, so when you've got Palmer and Madueke on the right hand side, then they're both left-footed, obviously. So when they're on the right, there's a beauty in Palmer that when he passes, he kind of knows exactly where to pass to because it's a man of his own ilk. So he's like putting it onto that foot to shoot. So he gets loads of assists because he's putting it in the same way. He also gets loads of shots. And you see, he does that. He just holds that run all the time, doesn't he? You think he's going to get a shot here because he's holding the run and he knows that Madueke is going to pull it back because he doesn't really want to bang it in with his right foot.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna be able to open his body and shoot. So that's great. So all those things are fantastic for them. But occasionally they're also absolutely terrible for them because as soon as someone goes, well, I just stand now.
Yeah.
And Robbo just goes, go outside me, mate. Come on, Madueke, you go outside me if you want.
Yeah.
He's like, well, that's me done. Uh, I'll just cut, Robbo, I'll just, and then he's coming inside the van. Oh, we just cut the passing lanes, lads. See what happens. Oh, that's a problem. Whereas Neto obviously can go both ways. That's the difference of him as a winger. So it definitely makes, the ability to, it's harder to mark just in general, because of what he can do. He can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can do both things. Yeah, I thought Neto was good. And Palmer, but he's still, you can't ever stop him from doing, you can't ever stop him, can you, from having those shots? He still had a couple of those shots where the ball comes back to him and he put them over.
Yeah.
Or a few of them were blocked. He sort of p-rolled them. He's trying to try stuff with them. But yeah, Palmer's it's just elite, isn't he? Because he just always gets the chances. And it feels exactly the same with Salah. I think they are both worth the money.
Yeah, I can't see a world in which I get to game week 12 and I don't have Nico Jackson in there.
Really?
I can't see a world where I don't have Jackson in 12. I genuinely don't. Like his movement is ever improving. That
He'll
was
be
obviously
banned by then,
evident
surely. He must be close again.
Hopefully he gets over that tightrope. Where's the tightrope? There's always a
He
tightrope.
can't help himself but get booked all the time.
There's a tightrope somewhere. Is there not? Who has the tightrope? Is it Scout? Is it FPL?
He will definitely get to the bookings. Grand bookings.
Let's hope for it. Well, didn't he go like 15 games without getting one last year? Because it wasn't that last year we were all sitting there waiting for him to get booked and no one got him in because he was like too short of 10.
Yeah, he's definitely can't be far away. All right, filter by clubs, Chelsea.
He's on 3. He's on 3. It's fine. Palmer's
he can get to 12, mate.
Palmer's on 3.
They probably both won't get to 12.
No, that's fine. They don't have to get to 12. They can get to 10, get banned, and then be back in 12. That's fine.
Then he's a better asset.
No problem. They'd be banned by 17. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else from here. I think Trent. I feel like Trent's going to be quite heavily sold this week.
And so then Liverpool got Arsenal.
Yeah.
So Arsenal.
Yeah.
Did you see any difference between
the Tosin challenge with the Saliba challenge? Yeah. Not really. Not loads. I mean, it wasn't really. I think who was it would have been Badia Shield was probably closer starting position, maybe, but you're talking about like a couple of yards, right? It's not even. Does it even matter at that point? Like, it's just it probably should just be a red card. There's a lot of stuff that comes into that Saliba one though, which is very weird. With all the different positions that they have to look at, the fact that the ref hasn't given it on the pitch when like he's looking at everything. Like I understand if his field of vision is like blocked or whatever, but it should be as simple as. It should be as simple as saying, well, I can get if they're going to say I'm going to give a yellow card, but I can't see how close people were. I couldn't see, so I'm going to give the yellow card, and then I'll let VAR tell me whether I need to have a look at it again, give me a different angle, and then I'll decide. Okay, cool. That happens. Red card. Fine. I've got no issues with that. As a Spurs fan, I've got no issues with it. I'll just add that as well. But it was all a bit weird that it all kind of happened like that, the way it did.
So I suddenly got very distracted to the last minute. Somehow on my screen, Ryan Christie, because he has his thumbs up, keeps. Do you know that thing where you have a thumb up and stuff like that, so it then creates like it on your screen? him on my screen with his thumb up keeps putting a thumbs up like above your head right now. I've got a thumbs up
Oh,
on my
really?
screen, but I don't think it. I just kept on look down to see if it's translated on the
I
pod.
mean,
It's not translated on the pod.
that's Marco Senesi, by the way. But yeah,
Oh, Senesi, is it? Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. Literally on repeat, every like 2 seconds, I've got like above your head, I've got like a thumb up, and it's just like, what's going on here?
Is this
What's been
happening?
happening?
I
I
can't
don't
even check
think it
because if I
is.
check, I can't even. It'll
Anyone who's
screw
actually
up.
watching, let me know whether it's happening. I will also print screen so I can show you that later.
Okay, no, that's definitely just happening on your screen, mate. That's definitely just for you because I can
Freaking me
see
out.
because you'll be seeing this in Zoom, and that's where it'll be doing it.
Yeah.
You remember when that happened to
That's
Harry?
actually- I remember that having Harry,
That
yeah,
was
on
that
stream.
was
It was
hilarious.
fantastic. Um,
Anyway,
I do think the red card, I think the Raya did him
the fact
because
that he
there's that
runs
one
away.
angle where because he's running backwards,
If
because he could
Raya
have got
runs
there.
towards it, he probably it's probably a booking.
Yeah, I think no
Yeah.
chance. I think the angle where you suddenly saw because it's like Raya's almost giving the game away because he's backpedaling. It's the keeper saying, "Well, this is one on one.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
one on one."
Yeah.
And I genuinely think that that's what was the swinging point of it. After that, obviously, I mean,
I mean,
they
so
didn't even try and go for it though. Arsenal,
no, but they also didn't just sit back either.
they didn't really try and go for it.
No, they just had a couple of chances. I mean,
It was just they just let them have the ball.
yeah.
Like they're so like it's so ingrained in them to be so solid that when stuff like this happens, that it doesn't go their way, and this isn't the first time it's happened. I did massively question like not only when they've got it sent off, but they like right about 4 times Rice slid in such a bad way that I was like, if he connects there, he's off.
Mm.
Like they don't lose their petulance even when they're down to 10 men. They just keep doing it, and it's a big problem. It's a big problem, and what we have seen is continually they're not starting fast enough. Now, if you get 30 minutes into the game and you've done nothing, like the home team will always start to get a bit, well, maybe we've got a chance here.
Mm.
Um, then the stupid thing happens. You get a man sent off. But if they just gone at them early, like Arteta a couple of seasons ago was like great at like setting them up to go 10, 15 minutes and push ahead, but they're just not doing that. So there's always a chance in the Premier League that teams will creep back into it. And I think that's what's killing them a little bit on these clean sheets.
Mm.
If you don't put teams to the sword early on, there's always a chance they'll come at you.
It's definitely very different from how they used to start games last year. Like last year and the year
Yeah,
before, they used to really come out the first 15 minutes, and if you knew that Arsenal were going to win a game when they were 1-0 up inside 10 minutes,
100%.
every single time. And there'd be quite a lot of small chances they create, but they'd generally get one over the line in the first 10, 15 minutes. And that would be
Yeah,
when that was when we kind of knew they were just, to be fair, that's kind of when we knew that they were going to start challenging for the title, really, didn't we? When they first started doing that, it was like, oh crap, that's not good. Obviously good for them, not for us.
they passed 1 XG against Southampton. Obviously, it was 0-0 against Southampton at home, and they passed 1 XG like right on half time. But to go in 0-0 at home to Southampton, yeah, like I say, it was always a chance then that the other team get a bit confident. They're going to do something that hurts you. And then was it they got the Arsenal Leicester? To be fair, Martinelli did score after about 25 minutes, but and Trossard scored on half time. But again, like 0.5 XG in the first half.
Yeah,
Like they ended up with 5 XG, but 4 of it was in the second half when
yeah.
they almost had to. Well, this is one where they hadn't gone for it. They'd sat in so cagely. Then they're 10 man down. Then they're 10 men. And then it's just bloody hard to go for it.
Yeah.
It's, it's,
And then they get out set pieced.
and then they get out set piece. It was a good set piece, wasn't it?
Set piece, wasn't it? Very, very clever.
Mm.
Very, very clever. You think there's an argument that Raya should get sent off for the pen as well?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't think he makes an attempt at the ball at all, which is apparently the.
They love to say the keeper's playing the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this does stretch back. Obviously, the game against us was what, game week 5? Didn't make 1 XG against us. Then, they're not getting above 1 XG in first halves of games at all.
No, we were game week 4.
4. Who were
Probably
they in
game week
5?
3,
Let me have a
weren't
look.
we? No,
They were
4.
Man City, obviously.
Yeah.
Have they made it above 1 XG in any game in the first half this season? Villa, nope. They were lucky that obviously that Villa game, they won 2-0, but they were lucky obviously that Watkins missed 2 absolute gilt-edged chances at 0-0.
Yeah.
Like that, they are playing with fire repeatedly at the start of games. It's a problem. Didn't get to, even home to Wolves, didn't get to 1 XG in the first half. They are starting incredibly slow.
Mm.
It's not good.
Not good.
It's not good for clean sheet people.
No.
Teams will gain confidence the longer it goes on.
Right. So we have, was it Fulham, Villa, Newcastle, Brighton, Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich, Everton. We've got 4 games. We need to wrap those up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
you choose, mate.
Fulham, Villa, bit of a ding dong. Obviously a missed pen obviously helps in here as well for Fulham's XG.
Massive.
Yeah,
helps Villa to be fair as well, because 2-1 up, it's a potentially very at Fulham, it's a very different game.
Yeah, it's very lazy start as always. Like I always think, do Villa always just go 1-0 behind?
Sloppy it feels, doesn't it?
It just feels a bit meh. I don't know whether Mings coming back into the frame might help that at the back. Just presence more than anything. Around the whole team. But I mean the rest of the team's functioning. Obviously Rodgers obviously should score that huge chance just before half time, which was extremely well worked.
Yeah.
And then Watkins gets his customary goal, as you say. Like this is what you're saying. Like they score 3 goals, Watkins is involved as a minimum.
Has 2 shots in the game. Comes off after 75 minutes.
Yeah,
like it's really limited, like what's happening. But he's walking away with points every week.
It's what we've said before about the teams that don't have Europe as well. I mean, just on a minutes perspective, more than anything, like would you pay 9.5 million for Watkins when he scores 1 goal, maybe gets a bit of bonus, maybe not, but then comes off after 70 minutes every week? We're not in that world where I think it was Jimenez at Wolves and I can't remember who else they were, but it might have been DCL, might have been one of them. But they just rock up, score a goal, and then just disappear for like 6-7 million, and you'd be like, oh, cool, that's what my striker should do.
Yep.
Once every other game, and that's cool. That works. I'm not sure at 9.5 million when he's the second most expensive striker in the game that you want that. I think I'd probably want to prefer to maybe have someone like Wood or. I don't know, as I've mentioned, like even like Strand Larson or Cunha or someone like that, even Solanke maybe not Solanke now, having discussed what we've discussed.
He's not the player that we knew him when he first joined the league, though. You remember, it was Grealish and him, and he was Darwin Núñez, like, wasn't he? Like he was hitting the bar, he was a million shots, And then
last year it was like 1,000 bloody assists, wasn't it?
Yeah. But this season, so he's had 9 shots on target, 5 goals.
Yeah, that's not the Ollie we know.
Like, like he's got 5 goals from 4 XG. Yeah, he's just doing the things.
It's being efficient.
Like it's not, it's being really efficient. It's. I mean, he's consistently around 2.5 shots per game. If those shots mostly are hitting the target, so he's taking 2.68 shots per game this season. He's half his shots have been on target, and more than half of the shots he hits on targets go in. So he's basically going to score every game.
Yeah,
1 goal every
two
single
shots.
game.
He doesn't even score his best chance of the game.
No, he's basically just going to score 1 goal every single game.
Yeah. Yeah. So as I mentioned, Jimenez at Wolves. Like, do we need to buy Jimenez at Fulham?
I mean,
Is he back on
doing
pens?
the only thing is obviously he is probably back on pens, and I mean, there's still no reason to doubt his minutes, but Marco Silva basically he made a sort of thing before in the press conference about I've got 2 strikers. They've both been doing really well over the break. I'm like staff. I've got a decision to make. He said, I've got a decision to make. He didn't say, like Nuno just really bigs up Chris Wood of that's
Yeah.
my boy, that's my boy, that's my boy. He didn't say that. He's like, I've got a decision to make. So I do still think Jimenez is like it's helping Jimenez that he's got Jimenez there and that he's got competition. But I do think at some point it'll be like one bad game and it's a problem again. But the hot hand is there. He's flying.
I mean, he's had a return in his last 5 games. Four goals and an assist in his last 5 games.
Yeah. And now probably on pens.
And now probably on pens. Yeah.
But, a goal from a keeper assist isn't the most sustainable way of doing the stuff.
No. No.
You can't argue with it, mate. Like was it? Did they say like 12 and 14 or something like that?
What was that?
In total, in like his last 14 starts, I think or something like that, he scored 12 goals.
That's
I think that guy over last season and this season.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah.
But he's got 4 in his he's got 4 in 5 starts this season.
Yeah. I think it goes back like now, basically if he starts, he scores at the moment.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So Watkins good. Rodgers did what he did.
Yeah.
And still gets huge amount of minutes. Still a really good option any week.
Yeah.
Moving
on.
Welbeck, similar to Jimenez. Like they know what they're doing, don't they? These guys. Like this is the season pro number. Like Wood, Jimenez, Welbeck. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They are exactly what they are. They're probably better than they've ever been, each of them. Because they know their game inside out. The issue, obviously, is that Welbeck gets stretched off. However, he seemed pretty like he sent like a picture of himself and said, "I'm just a bit battered and bruised." So,
I mean, it didn't look like it when he went off, though. Like it's not often you get a small jab in the back and it almost goes down like he slips a disc, for example. Like,
yeah. It's one of those where he probably is either just battered and bruised and he'll be all right.
He's probably just a bit old.
Or
how old's Welbeck now? He's 31?
33.
32? Okay, 33.
33.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, it'll be out for about 4 months because of the slip disc.
Yeah.
But he seemed relatively confident on the way back that he was just battered and bruised.
Yeah.
Ferguson comes in, plays as well, goes off injured again. And got some abuse. Like I was trying to search for the injury, what it was for Ferguson. But what I noticed was that Ferguson just got a lot of abuse.
Really?
Yeah.
Or just for being
rubbish?
Yeah. He's 19, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been around a while now.
Yeah, a year and a half. That's not a while.
I know.
Is this the Sam Johnson Wolves type thing? Like they don't actually think he's
maybe
injured?
it was.
type thing.
Maybe it was.
Maybe they're just
But
pissed off they couldn't sell him in the summer for 60 million quid or whatever it was.
I thought Gordon Isak looked good. I thought they looked really good. Obviously, there's nothing to show for it in this. But I thought Gordon, that's why Verbruggen's had such a ridiculous week, in terms of his 10 pointers, because he had a good game. But yeah, if you look at the stats for Isak, that's a good comeback for him.
7
That definitely
shots.
means they work further. 7 shots, 0.67 XG. Gordon has 4 shots, 0.5 XG. Joe Linton has 4 shots. I mean, they had 15 shots between Joe Linton, Gordon, and Isak.
Yeah, and they each had a big chance as well. So you just feel like this one kind of just slipped away. But then Newcastle are like this. Newcastle are like this at home. They'll create a lot of chances at home. Like this time, they didn't score the goals. Very often they do. I don't know what that
Isak
means.
Could get back on the menu at some point.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. You talk about strikers that you might want back in. I mean, the run from 11 is great. Forest, West Ham, Palace, then Liverpool at home, then Brentford, Leicester, Ipswich. There's a lot of teams that just have this Leicester, Ipswich next to each other. Like Leicester, Ipswich, Newcastle. Wolves have Ipswich, then Leicester. Man United have Leicester and then Ipswich next to each other. It's mad. There's a few of them.
There could be some Haaland to Isak. But there could be some of those happening. Game week 12. Fund the Palmer move.
Or just do it game week 11.
Yep.
Just do it game week 11. Although Brighton away doesn't feel like a game where they'll camp in.
I mean, Watkins and Isak from game week 12 look glorious.
Yeah.
Watkins, true. Isak, Pedro looks like if you're wildcard 12, because there is some people on that.
Yeah.
Watkins, Isak, Pedro looks like the one.
Or Jackson. I mean, just throw Jackson in there as a fourth.
Or Jackson.
Or Strand Larson. I mean, like, again, these...
Yeah.
Like, the Wolves fixtures start now. They have to start now because they've been absolutely terrible. They are lit. Yeah, Brighton... Like, Wolves fixtures are Brighton, Palace, Southampton, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham, Ipswich, Leicester. Like, you just have to get Wolves players in for that. I think you do.
Yeah.
I just think you have to trust the fixtures on that. I asked you this, so I couldn't remember what you said. Would you know about João Pedro? Other than like, is he the
Don't know. But I do think
they're just going to play like a Dinger and
let's just see what happens on Welbeck because if Welbeck's okay, he's just doing an unbelievable job.
Yeah,
like he's the one. Like everyone else is sort of in and out and do that stuff. And as much as they've got some clean sheets, but they haven't deserved the clean sheets they've got. Let's be really frank here. They didn't deserve to clean in this game.
Yeah.
like it's a snatch and grab 1-0 this.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like well done to Brighton, and somebody needed to do it to Newcastle because Newcastle have been doing it to everybody else. So like it's an unbelievable, fantastic couple of results either side of the break for Brighton.
Yeah.
We're beating us and beating Newcastle, puts them very much in the equation in the European spots. And their leading man's like less than 6 million quid. And the man coming back's less than 6 million quid. We're definitely going to have a Brighton forward at some point.
Yeah.
They're better finishers than this man.
Yes. Well, not the man on the screen, but yes, DCL. Everton clocking up 1.7 XG versus Ipswich 1.3. Kind of went as I kind of expected it to. Ipswich create some chances, but ultimately, I mean, like Ndai's just a fun player, and he's a fun player to watch. He's just, just that little bit of, and what's so good, and we said this before about Ndai, he just makes McNeil look better because he pulls him puts McNeil into that position where he can affect the game more often.
What I liked about it as well as I heard the commentator, and I don't think I've ever had a man where you pronounce as many letters as his name. So they pronounced this Ilaman. It was almost Ilamian Ndie.
Yes.
Like it was like I'm going to get as many of, but it's like almost like you're spelling out his word. I was like, what a great name. But no, mate, you can spell the whole thing out.
Yeah. No, we'll just do it in 2 syllables. Just call it Ndie. It's fine.
Yeah. But he's great. He's great.
The only
He's
other
great
thing I
fun.
wrote, the other thing I wrote on my notes for this game is Michael Keane the best worst player in the history of the Premier League?
100%.
Like
He's
genuinely, genuinely, I can't remember seeing a left foot strike like that. Like I
have
just
the
can't.
balls to do it. So I'm just banging that.
I just cannot remember
I can
how.
remember
They're so
John Terry
thin.
scoring one like that. I'm thinking, oh, I remember John Terry scoring one like that. He definitely scored a very similar one from the left foot as well. I remember it, but I can't remember who it was against. Um, but yes, a banger. McNeil again he's great. Like he's really playing great football. So obviously it's a relatively jammy assist in the fact of it's an absolute banger from Keane. But the work he does to get to the lay the ball off is unbelievable in a tight space.
Mm.
Um, and obviously he could happily have had more assists if Calvert-Lewin had just managed to score some of the chances he had.
Yeah.
Um,
1.32
but
xG for Calvert-Lewin.
they're not going to change much of this team, are they? When they're all playing, so like he will still look at it and think Calvert-Lewin's playing really bloody well in that he's causing teams huge amounts of problems. He just needs to score. Like I'm not going to sell Calvert-Lewin, and I will keep playing him every week when he's getting 5 shots at 1.3 xG. I mean, it's an incredible value for a £6 million striker. But will he continue to do this? Yes. But I enjoyed more having Calvert-Lewin this weekend than I did having Haaland this weekend. I enjoyed having Calvert-Lewin more this weekend than I enjoyed having Solanke this weekend. He was comfortably my best striker of the three.
But he doesn't score goals. And I know the others didn't either. The others don't have shots. But
Again, every single shot I saw from him, do I think he did badly for each of them? I don't think he did badly for each of them. I think Muric did fantastically well. I'd still rather have the striker that I feel like if he was missing the target, I'd be like, well, actually, like he's 3-1-1 and he puts it 5-10 yards wide, or when he's putting it over or doing this stuff. But he's making the keeper make unbelievable. Like keeper stays on his leg. The one down to his feet was incredible. It's all like nice and neat. Like it's all easy to say. Judgment will always be well, he didn't score.
that's how I'll judge it. Yeah, that's how I'm going to judge it.
And when he scores, is he then good?
No, I don't say he's
No,
good.
he's not. So you can't judge it when they score, like because when they score, they're good, and when they don't score, they're bad. Like, is that good? That's like your judgment with penalties. If he misses the penalty, it's a bad penalty.
That's true. That's how it works. That's how penalties work.
Well, I mean,
He's a
Pereira
bad
special.
finisher. I'm not going to change my opinion on that. I mean, I hope he scores goals for you, but I'm not going to worry about him in that sense. So
No, absolutely not.
I
No one's ever going to be
I have
worried about
absolutely
these ones.
I have absolutely zero interest.
No, no one's ever bringing him in. No one's ever doing anything with him. But it's like you can roll him out every week.
Yeah. Then we get to. I can't believe we've waited until end to do this game, but probably because we don't really care for their assets. But this was this was an interesting game.
I almost brought Dibbling in this week. That would have been a 1-pointer. So
It would have been a 1-pointer. It would have been a 1-pointer. The moment of the game for me here was seeing the tweet from Leicester at half time when it said off, skip, on, Winks. And I was like, that is the weirdest sub I've ever seen. You've just replaced the same player with the same player.
that'll do it.
That'll make all the difference. And it made all the difference. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, fair play to Leicester to bringing this back, but are they just they're the masters of their own downfalls, Southampton?
Yeah,
just by continually trying to, they're just not. I mean, we say it about any team that gets 2-0 up and doesn't win, right? Let's say this about Spurs last week. Just terrible game management. In that, more than anything, Southampton needed to win a game. And it's against a team at home against a other promoted side. I mean, at 2-0, you should be locked. Like, that's it. Game over. At that point, like done. But Leicester have got some fun players. Buonanotte gets involved again.
Flying.
Doing really well. Good finish as well. Tries to get pulled over. Vardy obviously gets pulled for the penalty. I see Ryan Fraser doing his best Suarez impression there, trying to just make sure there's no goal at that point. But obviously you don't get away with that anymore.
No,
not that Suarez did. But.
It's just so fragile, and it's not even like you say, master the downfall, because at 2-0 up, they're cruising. Better team, doing the business. You give away a big chance, and then you're just like, well, you know what's coming here. But I mean, at half time, it was rife. Steve Cooper sacked.
Yeah,
it was rife. There's quite a few Leicester fans on my timeline, and it was rife. Sack him. Yeah. Yeah, they did silly things.
At the same time, Fatawu comes on and just like grabs the game. And just thinks, I'm just going to do whatever the hell I want with the ball here. And Southampton let him do it. And I thought he was great second half. He was fun to watch.
They have got Leicester. Basically, they've got a crap load of experience, haven't they? Like in their team, the players that you got, even like you said, about Vass, and then Buonanotte. Like, yes, but he has got a lot of experience from Brighton. Ayew's played a lot of games. Do you know what I mean? Vardy, all of it. Like they see it, they live it, they know what's coming, and everyone just thinks we can turn them over. Give them a chance. We think we can take them over, and they did. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to pick these players. You gonna pick any of these players?
Picking any of these players? No. I guess the reason we need to look at this is really just to go back to the start of the conversation on this Haaland triple captain thing. Like, this is the justification that we'll see all over the timeline. Is the reason people will pick Haaland is going to be Southampton.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm just not that bothered about triple captain in Haaland. If I'm honest, I'm just not that bothered. Yeah. Like I still like midfielders. I think the midfielders are just better. Like I do. I think we've never been blessed with so many magnificent midfielders, and that are talismanic in Palmer, in Salah, in Son, in Saka. Like these are all 10 million for a reason and plus. I want one of those in a double. Like, look at this week, how much the difference is of a goal. As soon as Salah scored, you were like, I am done. That's just eaten so much of my week away. Because the worst case scenario is he was going to end up with 8-9 points. Because he seems to get bonus every time now, just about. Son's baseline's pretty good, so as soon as he scores, you think he's got a chance. Albeit it was helped by Kudus getting sent off, and then the late assist given. But yeah, if I can have 2 games of one of those, I still rather that. I just would still rather that for me. I like
fair enough.
Triple captain midfielders. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to beat the Ipswich game. I'm trying to beat that.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm just that's fair. I'm just wondering, like, are you? I mean, I know we're a while away from this now, but are you thinking about when these game weeks are going to work though? Because are there going to be enough game weeks to use all the chips, or is it a case I'll just worry about that further down the line?
I'd still rather have one of those in a single game week too.
Well, yeah, okay.
I mean, I'd still rather have one of them when I know they're in a really good position and they're playing Southampton. Well, they're really good and they're playing Ipswich. I just like the midfielders.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough.
I feel like the upside is there for it, and if the fixtures present themselves from a double, then fine. But yeah, I can't see if I wasn't on it already. I don't know why I would move onto it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what I've seen today that's made me go, God, you know what? I better do it.
Yeah, and I suppose with the Ipswich fixture as well, going back, the Ipswich fixture had a hat trick behind it as well, didn't it?
Mm.
As like a
Just,
proof of
just
concept.
if you look at today's game, if Haaland was on the bench, what would have changed? What would that have changed
Yeah,
in the game?
nothing. The game would have been the same
So maybe if everyone's fit, that's the time you give him a game off.
next week.
Yeah, yeah. That's another part of it is if we were senior members of the cartel, so we'd get the 3 o'clock news, then it'd be fine. But I'm not. But we're not.
We're just what are we, apprentices, or are we just not?
We're
Just not
not
in it?
even that.
We're
We're
not
just
even
two
that.
dickheads to do a podcast.
I was just bringing.
But
Thing is, I thought you were about to go into a conversation about fixtures rather than the cartel, so I brought the ticker up. So I'm just going to take that back down. Screw it.
but obviously next week we've got a Friday deadline, haven't we? So it's Leicester Forest.
Yeah.
So 6:30 is the deadline.
So we're going to know nothing.
We're not going to know what's going to happen in the 3 o'clocks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I wouldn't want to be punted on that.
Just don't.
Especially when it's it's one of those when it's at home as well. So there's no traveling. There's all this sort of
There's no
stuff. You don't see
travelling.
anything.
I can't send Andy round the hotel. I can't do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, fair enough.
I don't see that I'm going to get enough that says, yeah, I could trust that.
Yeah. Yep.
But so you're going to cap Haaland though
Yes.
next week.
I think you'd be stupid. I mean, yes. Yeah, you have to. I think you have to.
And you put your Vice and Son
Don't think it matters.
for White Palace.
Oh, I suppose maybe it does matter. Maybe it does. Maybe it does matter. Let's go back to here, just because I'm just trying to remind myself who's in my team. So,
It's got to be in it.
Bumo,
Oh, Bomo.
probably. Home to Ipswich. It's probably Bumo, isn't it?
Son loves playing Palace.
I know he does. Yeah.
Son or Bomo.
Yeah. Harper is obviously catching up from the start of the stream. So by the time you catch up to this, I'll just let you know that I don't drink coffee, so I didn't actually go into Starbucks for a coffee. My daughter just needed the loo, so that's why we stopped. Yeah. Gameweek 8 almost done. Say you're done. Hopefully Eze scores a ton of points tomorrow for me.
But I think it's about 10% nine. You can have him.
I can have him?
Like, mate.
It's quite
Oh,
low.
yeah.
Cool. Love that.
One
Love
of us has
that.
got to do well, mate. I ain't going to be me at the moment.
Well, me, I haven't finished above you since we started doing the pod. So
We've got a long way to go. We've got 30 weeks, mate.
yeah. So you should be wanting to chase me.
Oh, I just don't want to be 2.5 million.
Yeah, that's fair. But I was 4 million at this point last year.
But I don't think anyone I don't mind being 2.5 million because nothing's worked. Like you shouldn't be in a good position if you captain Haaland 3 weeks in a row and you blanked in all of them and you brought in double Arsenal defence and they blanked in all of them. Like, I'd be really worried if I was doing well.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
You're not going to fly forward if but if you pick players which are players that are expected to do well and you don't do well, then you're like, okay. But surely at some point they start doing better.
Yeah, you're much better at managing this stuff than I am. Because
Can't do much about it.
I know you can't, but there's a lot of things we can't do much about. It still doesn't mean we don't get frustrated about it. This is where the whole my team, my emotion came from. But cool.
Can't do much about it.
Right, we'll leave it there, mate.
Try again next week.
Try again next week. We're at an hour and 40 minutes, so we'll leave it there. Hopefully everyone did well. Just to confirm, we are not part of the FPL.
No one's
cartel.
done well, mate.
I'm just saying. Someone out there has done well.
Your game week rank is 600k. You got 40 points.
No, my game week rank is 2.6 million. My overall rank is 600k.
Oh, okay. Well, 2.6 million is not too bad.
Well, I know. Yeah, as I say, it's not too bad with 41 points. So there are people out there with 50 plus.
50 points this week. It's a monster week.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Hope those guys. Hope you have done well. 50
points isn't a good week, is it?
It's fine. It is in the context of a bad week. Yes, it's a very good week, mate.
Yeah.
It's a very good week. It's a better week than we've had. But yeah, before you leave, do make sure you hit the like button if you've enjoyed it, and if you want to see more, make sure you hit subscribe. And we will see you again on Thursday.
See you Thursday.
Cheers, mate.